This is Mondraker's all new for 2020 Crafty RR Carbon.
Mondraker are calling this a bike with zero compromise, a full-powered, sub 20 kilogram e-bike. In fact, the bike, which is powered by the new Bosch Generation 4 motor, weighs an incredible 19.3 kilograms. That's with a 500 watt-hour battery. Even with a larger 625 watt-hour battery, it's still under 20 kilograms, weighing 19.8. The Crafty Carbon RRSL represents what Mondraker are calling the total EMTB. The goal? Great manoeuvrability, low centre of gravity, lightweight, and geometry that is close to a regular pedal bike without sacrificing power or battery range. The bike is loaded with top-tier components and Mondraker's signature frame aesthetic. The Crafty Carbon RRSL features a super light carbon frame, 29er wheels, and Mondraker's forward geometry. Mondraker claim that it's the most technologically advanced, most balanced and most complete and best performing e-mountain bike at the moment with the lightest weight.
Carbon frame is absolutely beautiful. It's a really nice finish. It's got Mondraker's trademark like frame brace there, and it's like a gloss carbon and a matte carbon frame. One thing to note, the battery, to get it down to the weight that they wanted, Mondraker made it with a internal battery that you can't take out to charge indoors. So if you need to charge it, it's through the bike itself, and the charging port is just on the bottom, just down here, just around there. There it is, just in there. And that allowed Mondraker to keep this down tube really thin. I mean, it is a real kind of svelte, thin design on the down tube. It looks really cool. Fox 36 forks, it's got the Fit 4, and I did ask why they didn't use a Grip 2, but they actually said they preferred the performance of the Fit 4 fork on this bike. They said the Grip 2 can be a little bit harsh on the initial stroke, so they preferred the performance, certainly on the initial part of travel on the Fit 4, which was quite interesting. Fox 36 160mm travel and DT Swiss carbon wheels. Now this bike I'm riding right now, we put on some different tyres because it comes with Recons, Maxxis Recon, and it's been really wet around here. So we've got DHF and DHRs, but it comes stock with Maxxis Recon. Just a little point to note, SRAM axis on the wireless axis gears and the wireless dropper, which is just bloody brilliant. Bosch display is mounted above the bars, possibly a little bit crash prone there, not too sure. But also they designed in partnership with Acros this new head tube. It's a 1.5 inch head tube, and all the cables you can see come down here straight into the head tube, so it looks so neat. Look at that. It's got like the brake cable, front brake cable, and then everything else is really neatly integrated into that head tube just there. Looks so sweet, man. XTR brakes, and it's got Mondraker's classic linkage with the brace here just on the rear. And Mondraker say that it is super supple off the top and ramps up really nicely, and it's really progressive. And they say they've tested all the electronic mountain bikes, or many of the e-bikes that are out now from all the big brands, and they say that they prefer and really like their, I mean they would, it's their bike, but they're saying the performance of their rear kinematics is just ahead of anyone else. So we'll test that out. And I also asked why they went for the DPS shock instead of the DPX2 or the bigger canned X2, and they actually said they preferred, with this linkage, with their suspension design, this DPS. They said the one with the piggyback reservoir, the DPX2, doesn't have the same characteristics as this. They preferred the tune on this. They said it felt really good on the bike, and they tested loads of different suspension and that worked better. You could say it's because it's lighter, I don't know. but it's interesting that they've gone for that, so we'll test that out as well. E13 carbon crank arms, and then Eagle with the SRAM axis. And the sun is just firing now, and it looks absolutely beautiful. I mean, I know e-bikes are getting more and more discreet, but it would be really difficult at a glance to actually tell that this is an e-bike. Look at it. It's sick, man. So I'm going to go for a burn on the hills around here. It looks stunning for mountain biking, I'm not going to lie. It's in, I think it's Louisa, I think that's how you pronounce it anyway. The World Cup downhill is coming here next year. There's some pretty epic trails as far as I've seen, so I'm looking forward to testing this, seeing what it's like, and I'll let you know everything I can about it. And if you've got any questions, pop them down below.
First day of riding, we hit some nice enduro trails in the hills. Steep, super muddy and wet conditions. A perfect test of the bike's stability, balance, and a really good environment to put Mondraker's claims of the best performing electric mountain bike to test. I was so glad we changed out the Recon tyre. That would have killed the fun. The Minions that we put on were a much better match for this wet and wild weather that we had on the first day of the test. Immediately, I could tell how lightweight the bike felt. The front was really light and responsive, but by far the best part of the bike was its rear suspension kinematics. It's incredible. I was genuinely surprised with how it performed. My initial reservations of just having a DPS shock on an enduro bike were completely changed. The suspension linkage provides an outstanding off-the-top supple response, excellent mid-stroke support, and despite my best efforts, I could not bottom it out. I'd go as far as saying that this has the best rear kinematics of any e-bike that I've ever tested. I was riding the large size and I found the bike slightly too small for me. I found the front a little bit nervous at times, but this is something that I know would have been better with a longer bike. The stock bars were a little shorter than what I'd usually use, and there was little rise on the handlebars, so it made it less than ideal for my size. The carbon wheelset is also very, very stiff, and I'd have probably preferred the aluminium wheelset of the model lower, which uses DT Swiss's excellent HX 1501s. I also found the climbing ability just okay. No real issues, but I had to carry my weight forward to stop the bike lifting. Again, something that could be easily solved by sizing up the bike and bar configuration change. Motor performance of the Bosch Generation 4 is excellent. I've ridden a few bikes with this new motor now, and this is the first that I didn't experience too much motor knocking that I've experienced on some other bikes. We were using the bike with the 625 watt-hour battery, and I got around 25 miles using a good mixture of EMTB mode with a bit of turbo, up the steepest climbs and a bit of battery left at the end of the ride. I gotta say, I'm still not a fan of the Bosch display or any displays in general. I'd rather have nothing if it was my choice. And the location of the display makes it prone to damage during a crash. And yeah, I crashed it.
I'm fine. Oh man, I just love testing these new e-bikes. They're getting so sweet, man. They're like sub 20 kilos, you know, it's just the weight is getting down, the geometry is getting really sorted. Mondraker have said that this geometry really reflects their regular pedal powered bikes, and it felt so good. The back end, like I said in the film, just was so supple, and a lot of brands claim that they've got this supple off the top and real kind of tough bottom out resistance kinematics, but Mondraker have nailed it. It is the best suspension platform that I have tested. The front just did feel a little bit too light. I would love to try the full size or the XL that would be suited for me. I'd put a set of wider bars on, I'd put a bit more of a rise on, and I'd like to get a bit more of a long test on it, but it was a sweet handling bike. Now the price is £10,800 for the SL, and they did start off their presentation with this bike is not for everybody. They wanted to create what they say is the pinnacle of electric mountain bike design, a super lightweight e-enduro e-bike that represented all of Mondraker's values, and I believe they've created that. And it's a no compromise e-bike. It's full carbon frame, you can't take the battery out, carbon wheel set, everything is about lightweight. So it's clear to see that what you're paying for is basically top tier everything. Even just like if you added up the price of the SRAM axis and the wheel set, it's about $3,500 just for those two bits. So it's just an all out high performance electric mountain bike with the cutting edge technology that you would expect when you're spending 10,800 quid on a bike. So yeah, it's a sweet bike. And these e-bikes, I've said it for my last few reviews, they're getting bloody brilliant. They are just a joy to ride. No longer are we seeing just regular mountain bikes with batteries stuck on the frame. There's a lot of thought and design and engineering that's going into creating these, and that they were so proud to show it off, and rightly so. And I had an absolute blast riding it. Here we go. Now this is tough, man, because this area here is getting pretty populated. E-bike prices have gone up since last year. They're all getting more and more expensive. This is a lot of money, but you are getting top tier everything. You're getting wireless everything. You are literally getting the cutting edge in electric mountain bikes, so you are not going to get that cheap. It's a real fun bike to ride. It's going up here. The range starts from 7,199, so you don't have to go for this one. Get a test ride if you can, see what you think, and if you've got any comments, pop them down below. I'll catch up with you soon.